30.3 degrees, 30.3. And the starting mileage is 49450, 49450. Hey YouTube, it's gentlemansnine. Just thinking back to like when I was a younger kid. My first car, when I finally got my license, my parents bought me a 1983 AMC Spirit. I think it only paid like $1,500 for it, and I love that car. It was unique. Excuse me. Not necessarily the most manly looking of cars if you look nowadays. If you want to see what it looks like, you can just Google it. But it was rear-wheel drive, and it had an inline 6-cylinder. I want to say it was a 3-liter, or maybe it was a 4-liter. I don't know. It was pretty. It was a big engine, and it had a large amount of torque, but it had no horsepower whatsoever. So like if you wanted to pass something, good luck with that. It was a 5-speed manual, so that was pretty cool. And it had one of those engines that you pop the hood and you can see the engine. It's pretty big, but you could actually see down both sides of the motor. You could actually see the ground. So that made like doing maintenance on it pretty easy. Not like today's cars nowadays, where you pop open the hood and all you see is some huge sheet of plastic covering up the motor. Gotta get gas. Let's go here. Alright, I'll resume this in a second. Hold on. Alright. Fuel obtained. So my car, the 83 AMC Spirit, so I loved it because it was unique and everybody recognized that it was me driving around that thing. But it had a few problems. The emergency brake, I'm not even sure exactly what the problem was, but basically there's a spring. You activate it by your foot, but there's a spring that kind of pulled it back upright, and the spring wasn't there, so the brake would kind of just fall. The light on the dash would come on that the emergency brake is on, and it would actually sort of slightly engage. So I had some binder twine holding that up. The throttle cable attached to whatever that thing is up in the engine bay, but it was like on a ball and socket. So when you pulled the cable, it pulled down on some kind of lever. That thing, I had a rubber band holding that together, because there's been a lot of times when the rubber band would, before I had the rubber band on there, or when I had the rubber band and it would break, you'd be going down the road and all of a sudden the gas pedal would just fall to the floor and you start decelerating. So that was kind of bad. Let's see what else is there. There was something wrong with the starter. I don't remember what. Something about some solenoid, something, I don't know. So a lot of times the car wouldn't even start. The battery would be completely fine, but it just wouldn't start. And so I didn't do it. I watched somebody else do it. If you hold like a screwdriver connecting these 2 points inside the engine bay, the bike would actually, or the car would actually start. But I couldn't do that because I was in the car by myself trying to start it. So the secret was, guess what? It's manual transmission. You just start pushing the car and then you pop the clutch. So I got really good at popping the clutch on the car. I had actually let my friend drive one time, so I'm in the passenger seat, and he wanted to look at the engine one time, so we pulled off to the side and he's looking at the motor, and then we got back into the car and we're going down the road. So we're going about 55, and all of a sudden the hood popped up. He didn't so the secret was when you put the hood down, you actually had to it would click once and you had to push down harder again. It would click it twice when it actually locked in. So he didn't lock it in. So we were going 55 miles an hour down the road, and then obviously we went from seeing everything to completely blind because we couldn't see past the hood. So that bent a little bit. I had actually also opened the door into somebody else once and got it caught somehow, and it bent one of the quarter panels on my car, which is really funny because I didn't damage the other guy's car. I don't even know how that all happened. And the I think it was the right front wheel, passenger wheel. I think it was the right one. As you went down the road, even though I had the car aligned a couple of times, the right outer edge of the wheel would always, the tire would wear like super quick. So you could have like a brand new tire on there, and 5,000-10,000 miles later, the outer edge of that tire would be completely bald. So, and the dealer could never figure out what was going on. So I ran through a lot of tires, and I think the car only got like 14 miles to the gallon, which doesn't sound like a big deal because I think back then gas was like 80 cents or something a gallon, which also wasn't a big deal, except back then I only made like $3.15 an hour, and I drove 30 miles one way to get to work. Yeah, see, my commute has always been long. So anyways, I love that car though, except from the time when it got some kind of mouse-ness inside of there, and then I somehow magically baked the mouse into the motor, wherever it was, in the exhaust system, or I don't know. Not the exhaust. It's probably in the ventilation, because whatever it was, I killed it, and every time you turned down the blower, all you smelled was dead mouse carcass blowing on top of you. It was kind of gross. Is that guy gonna pass me over? No, I'll just go with it. One day I had a bunch of friends in my car, my 83 AMC Spirit. We're going down the road, and all of a sudden you hear this big bang. And what had happened, the rear end had leaf springs on it, and the leaf springs, right where it connects to the body, had completely rusted out. And it cost me, man, I can't remember, 500, 600 bucks to have that all fixed. They had to get new leaf springs and weld on a new mounting point, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, that car ended up costing me like a lot of money, or at least all the money I had at the time. I used to put in a lot of hours at parties, and I would take that check, go to the bank, cash it, and then some kind of repair on my car. But I love that car, man. I wouldn't take it now though, but I loved it. Alright, talk to you guys later. Bye. Mileage 49492, 49492.